So, I'm going to run through some of this now. As you can see from the front end, it's a different look this year. We've done away with the idea of sitting in the paddock. We weren't going to expand that. It wasn't ever going to be an RPG for us. But we've gone for a new theme now. It's very polished, very technical, really reflects the modern world of Formula One. The car is the star. So there's three main things that we really wanted to talk about today. First of those would be the Young Drivers Test. At the beginning of the game, the player will actually load into the Young Drivers Test automatically as part of the intro sequence. It teaches the player about the basics. It also tells you how to deal with KERS and DRS, how to get the most out of the car. The way that you perform during that mode determines the contract offers that are open to you in career. Then we also have something called Season Challenge. This is basically built on the feedback we've got from players, whereby they were saying they don't always have enough time to be playing the normal career mode, which still remains in 2012, but they would like to play elements of it. And what we've basically enabled this year is a shortened version of the career mode as an option. It's 10 races, our favourite circuits that have been picked, 5-lap races, one-shot qualifying, which is one flying lap to set your grid position. You can always see the leader. It's quite intense actually, you can play it online as well. We also have track info, commentated hot laps basically, explaining to the player how to get the most out of a particular circuit. Sometimes you're not really sure where you're going to find the time, maybe you've not driven it before. This basically explains how to get to a track, get up to speed and be competitive from the off. Very, very useful, pretty much the kind of things that Sky does these days. We also have the ability to challenge other drivers on the championship board. You're trying to win the championship after 10 races. You start in one of the smaller teams. You basically pick a driver of your choice, challenging for the best of 3. You can take his seat, move to a more competitive team, try and earn some more points, basically be the champion at the end of 10 races. Another mode that we have in order to cater for those that are pressed for time, Improving Grounds, built off the back of the time attack system, is Champions mode. This reflects the fact that there's 6 world champions on the grid this season. Kimi's back, we've got Hamilton, Jenson Button, Vettel, Fernando Alonso, and the legend that is Schumacher. Then a final face all 6 challengers at the end. Almost a final boss battle, if you will. So the idea of this is you're always the world champion's teammate. In this particular one, you're Kimi's teammate, so you're Grosjean in the Lotus. It's the final few laps of a race around Spa. Everybody's on worn tyres. You've recently come out of the pits on fresh rubber. You've got to hunt Kimi down and pass him before the race ends. Other scenarios might have you stuck behind a safety car, out of position, the weather's changing, you're on the wrong tyres. Do you make the call to pit now, or do you keep going and try and master the poor, deteriorating conditions on the wrong tyres? So these Champions mode elements are always introduced by a commentator as well. So in the UK it's David Croft talking about it. You almost feel as though you're a spectator watching the broadcast feed from TV these days, but you actually jump on board and become one of the drivers. Dispatch some of the back markers. You can actually tell who the back markers are on the OSD. They light up as little blue icons, so you know who you're going to be able to pass easily and who you'll need to battle with. We've also included brake bias this year. The hardcore will probably love that. 3 settings following the theme that we've had before with the fuel management. It really does allow you to kind of finely balance the car's handling into corners. High-speed corners, maybe you're going to be putting the bias to the rear to help you turn in. Hard stop, for everything to the front. You'll be changing it as the fuel load depletes. You'll be changing it in different weather conditions. Different cars have different balance. We're all getting DRS now down the straight. We've also been working on a weather system, so localised weather is in this year. Never more evident than at a track like Spa. You can have different thunderclouds rolling in over particular parts of the circuit, soaking 1 or 2 corners. So then you've really got this kind of conundrum as to whether or not you should be changing your tyres, or are you going to try and tippy-toe on your slicks through a couple of corners when the rain starts coming down? Did you make that early call to switch to inters or wets and hope that you aren't going to burn them up? Also improved the AI this year for the hardest difficulty level, as I make a mistake there. I should probably play it on an easier one. The AI are far more competitive on Legend difficulty now, and also far more competitive into the first couple of corners at a race start. So in 2012, you really want to try and get a best possible grid position for the race start. It really does matter now. In 10 and 11, or perhaps we were kind of guilty of the better players being able to jump too many cars at the race start. Now you've got to fight for it. We've also got the particular characteristics for each team's ability to manage and deal with their tyres. You'll probably find that Mercedes are burning the rear tyres up very early on in the career mode, whereas the likes of Sauber, very renowned for being able to run a lot longer in terms of stints between pit stops on their tyres. So you kind of have to work to the advantages of each of the teams now. Makes it a little more interesting. Hopefully people will play 2012 Performance online with their friends as well, take advantage of those plus points for each team. We've also worked on the replay cameras so they're a little more realistic. If I just do a little replay here. Far more like the broadcast versions now. And watch your greatest moments back. Offset TV camera. A few people are asking for that. Don't say I always ignore them. Sometimes we do put these things in. Formula 1 2012 will be out in the shops around September 21st on Xbox 360, PS3 and PC.